A storm in the light, Mother Nature is one heck of a woman. A comforting caretaker, helping you through the day, but she also has a bit of a temper sometimes. She gives you life but can also easily take it away from you. She can be hot one minute, then cold the next. Hard to predict at times, but you always feel her omnipresence, either for good or bad. I bring this up as there have been several times where she has tried to put a stop to my life, through no fault of her own, of course. One hot summer, early August to be exact, I was working as an environmental consultant in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada, and did much of my work in the field. It was hard work, hauling gear through the bush, fording streams, performing aquatic research to try and help save the environment, in turn, of course, saving Mother Nature. My job was to capture fish in some ungodly difficult places to reach while carrying heavy gear and trying to avoid the bugs, and at times, the bears. Newfoundland usually has quite a moderate temperature. But in summer, it can get pretty hot though. There's an old saying that you can experience all 4 seasons in a day. I can vouch for that, as I have been in 30°C weather while watching icebergs float by. A misstep anywhere outside civilization there can lead to disastrous consequences. The real story starts here. My job charged me with flying up north, way up north, to a remote town only accessible by helicopter. I led a crew into the bush to do fish surveys and tracking them in a river downstream of a proposed mine. We had to make sure the effluent would not disturb the nesting grounds of an endangered salmon species. So I packed up our gear, grabbed my crew, and were off to the St. John's airport. Then it was 2 planes and 1 helicopter to arrive at our final destination in Schefferville, Labrador, Canada, 54.9 degrees north latitude. That meant it was only a few hundred miles from where the Arctic starts. Not a place that you may think is hot, but trust me, it is sticky and humid, especially when you are in the bush. The sun was beating down midday as if you were down in the tropics. The worst part was the bugs, mosquitoes everywhere, black flies, and flying annoyances that probably had yet to be identified as a species. Our home base was at a mining camp occupied by the roughnecks who were doing test drilling for the mining company. Their gruff exterior was in stark contrast to our clean-cut science geek persona. The guys were nice enough to us as long as we stayed out of their way and didn't interfere with their meal times. Luckily, since I was a higher-up, I got to stay in town at a cozy bed and breakfast and drove a work truck down some pretty dicey dirt roads, sometimes through ruts, mud, and the ever-present 300-foot cliffs. Nevertheless, I drove in every day to do my job. When I got there, I would check my gear, muster the crew, and prepare for the daily helicopter ride into the bush. Then I would tell our pilot where to go, and he would try and find a landing spot, but more often, we had to hover a couple feet above the ground and jump out and unload a bunch of gear amid the wash of the blades and the deafening noise from the turbine. It was pretty exciting. When the area was clear, we would duck down, and I would hold a thumbs up, then he would take off with whir and be gone. The air became calm and quiet, leaving us deep in the woods on our own on the side of a large river to go about our work, walking, as best we could, down the river banks. When there was any, we used rod and reel to try and catch our goal, an endangered species whom we were there to protect. If a fish was caught, I was in charge of surgically implanting radio tags into them, under anesthetic, of course, and then release them back into the river for future tracking upstream. It was much less ideal doing surgery there than in my lab back in civilization, but that was not the point of our mission. We repeated this every day for about a month, battling the bugs and only coming across bears a few times. You certainly do not want to get in their way when it was a couple-hour helicopter ride to the nearest proper hospital. But we trudged on knowing we were helping the aforementioned Mother Nature. Then came one fateful day. It seemed to be business as usual, sunny day, warm, clear skies. We reached a wide spot in the river, about 200 feet across, just above a small rock waterslide, maybe a 7-foot drop. Nevertheless, I saw a pool above it that I was sure had fish in it, so I waded out in the cold water to the middle of the river. The water was not too deep, 2 feet at most, and I started to cast out to see if anything was there. Things were going well, and then you could feel the air pressure drop. It was rather ominous. The sky began to dim slightly, then a little more, And then it became noticeable that something was not right. I stood there in the fast water, stuck in place.
The darkness brings you the light. Wake up, wake up. You're late, B. Then slowly I started opening my eyes and seeing the sun. By the way, I live in the city of Laguna where all people are so busy morning till night. I just moved here a month ago with my mom and 2 younger sister and brother. This was where I found an easy job and I am just a high school graduate. Everybody in this town has own business, everybody has work, each one has busy schedules, we don't even know our neighbors because we don't have time to at least greet or talk to each other. I have 2 jobs, one is being an employee in a paper factory and the other one is being a waitress at night. Oh, always meet people. I can have a chance to talk to someone. People in this city always have their phones in their ear or always facing their laptop and gadgets. Going back to me, I am so hurried to take a bath every day I can't even join in my mom and my siblings' breakfast. So while catching a taxi, what will you see is the crowded streets, expensive cars, taxis with a dark smoke coming outside, vendors, and children playing at their backyards. What I notice was this city may be a progressive city but not a progressive community. What I mean is everyone is like a robot here, same routine, same schedules, and the only people that I see enjoying and having fun was the children. But this situation didn't last. One day while I was working at the bar as a waitress, suddenly the power got off. Everyone is on shock and wonder why it happens. So every people have search and have source of light like candles, cell phones, flashlights, and they started to use their power generator, but unluckily this generator doesn't work, maybe because this generator haven't used a long time ago and it is an old version of generator. No one in this city expect that this event was gonna happen. Everyone gets to their home, because there is no electricity. We were unable to continue our jobs because what we have as a substitute for electricity and light didn't last longer. Almost all people in the city seemed depressed of their unfinished works. People was worrying where and how did they earn money. The streets have little lights coming from the houses. When I arrived on our apartment, my siblings welcomed me with smile and hug. I was worried about them at first, but I think there's no reason to. They are fine and not panicking compared to the people I saw in the streets and establishments. Then my mom said, "Did you already eat dinner? I cook pork stew. Did you like some?" Then I said, "I like some, Mom." While I am eating, my mom is also at the table staring at me while my siblings are playing at the corner of our house where the light was. My mom said, "Maybe there's a reason." Then is suddenly asked, "Reason for what?" Then she replied, "Reason why the power suddenly goes out." Then I said, "Yeah, the city governor's people have announced that there's a problem in the main power of the city." Then my mom laughed and said, "That's not what I meant." Then she go to the bathroom. Then he started wondering what does she mean about that. The next day in the morning, I wake up early because of the mosquitoes at my room, so I decided to have a coffee. What I see in the window was my neighbors having the same situation of me. Then my mom wakes up and prepare a simple breakfast, ham and egg with a bread. So we have a breakfast together with my siblings before they went to their school. Yes, they have school even though we don't have power. My siblings started talking about their experiences in school, of them having fun with their fellow classmate, reading colorful books in the library. Then I started to feel good. It seems that I missed this moment where I am having a breakfast with my family. Then I also see my mom smiling at us, seeing that she loves the moment too. Then my mom started saying, "Did you like to go to the park THSI afternoon?" Then my siblings said with a happy loud voice, "Yes mom, we like to. Be are joining, right?" Then I answered, "Yes I am." "Yeah, hey, this is gonna be fun," my little sister said. Then the morning passed by and then we go to the park at the afternoon. We have met a lot of neighborhoods there and I noticed that is playing with the children of our neighbors. Then we decided to go at the park every day. One day at the park while I am sitting at the grass while having a rest from playing with my siblings, suddenly one of my neighbor approached me and said, "Hi, how are you?" Then I am staring at her like I am in shock that she talked to me. "Oh, I forgot, I am Sandra. I lived next to your apartment. Do you remember? I was the one who always wears suit." Then I replied, "Yes, I remember you." She replied, "The governor said that it will take 3 weeks to repair the damage in the power, and also he said that someone has intentionally break it." Then I said, "Well, that someone may be crazy," then smiled. "Yeah, crazy, but I think she or he was a brilliant," she said. Then I asked, "Hey,